welcome to the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. And action. This is our second take because the first take was terrible, which is amazing why we're not recording live. This is the Coming Strength and Fitness podcast. My name is Alex, and I'm super excited you're on this episode. I believe this is episode 75, 76. I don't even know. It's one of those 70s. And I have one of our new coaches here, Coming Strength and Fitness. Tommy?
That works.
Samsonite. I was so close. Taylor Latham. Taylor, how are you?
I'm good, man.
This is your second podcast debut.
Indeed.
Because you are a avid podcaster getting requested all across the country.
That's right.
No, for real. This is exciting. We like to just spotlight our coaches just to get to know them a little bit more because they're an important role here at CS&F. So we're just going to kind of dig into all things Taylor. Let's do a little intro icebreaker, Taylor. You just finished a workout. You're here. You actually attended my class. What workout did you just do?
We had a 5 sets, 3-minute windows each time. You started with 50 double unders, and then you went to 20 kettlebell swings.
Yep.
Remaining time in that 3 windows, you did max muscle-ups or pull-ups. I was working on the ring muscle-ups today.
That's right.
So.
What was the best part about that workout?
The best part about that workout was the double unders.
After that, it just went downhill.
Because after that, it got hard. Yeah.
It got real hard. Got lit up. Well, Taylor is a awesome athlete. He's an awesome coach. He's also a family man. He is a husband. He's a father. But I'm not going to steal the show. I'm going to let you go into it, Taylor. So give us what I like to say, the 60-second snapshot of all things Taylor, both in the gym, outside of the gym. Then we'll kind of go into your story a little bit, Taylor.
Yeah, well, Taylor, husband to Catherine. She is a newer member here. You guys have seen her around. She's absolutely crushing it. We have 2 kiddos. Maeve is our daughter. She is 5. And then Fields is our youngest son. He's 19 months. They're around here. On Saturdays we come together, and Fields is here most weekdays when Cat comes to the 9:30. So, yeah, first and foremost, that's the family. We have a golden retriever as well. I have to mention her.
Oh, you can't forget her.
I know, you can't forget her. Her name's Tilly. She's an absolute nutcase.
Not where I thought you were going to say, like, absolute angel. She's great.
She is.
Absolute nutcase.
But she's also a nutcase. She's crazy, but she's, got to give a shout out to Tilly. Outside of that, yeah, I do sales for work, software sales, and then I'm here and just started coaching. Enjoying that. It's going great. What else?
Well, you didn't just start you just started coaching here.
Right.
As in recently over the past couple of months, but this isn't the first time you've coached. Excuse me, I'm finishing some lunch here. In CrossFit. Let's go back into your CrossFit story and tell us what life looked like pre-CrossFit, pre-coaching, just kind of like the early years of Taylor. Just kind of some background stuff, athletics, fitness type stuff, and then we'll kind of transition into your CrossFit story.
Yeah, sure. In high school, I've got kind of more of a running endurance kind of a background. So high school ran cross country for 2-3 years. Ran track one of those years as well. Track wasn't really my thing. It was too short distance. I was more of a long distance guy. So did cross country for a few years in high school. Athletics beyond that. Kind of grew up playing all kinds of sports. Family was a big baseball family. So played baseball for many, many years.
What's your team?
I mean.
Do you have a team? Do you claim a team?
For baseball?
Yeah.
I'm not much of a watch baseball fan, but the Braves.
Okay.
But I'm very much a fair weather / playoffs fan.
I see.
I'll admit it.
I love it. I love the honesty. Do you have a team in general, like football or NBA or anything?
Yeah, I'm more of a college football guy for sure. So
gotcha.
Georgia.
Okay.
Go Bulldogs.
Okay. Always got to give the Go Dogs shout out.
Go Dogs.
Right, keep going.
So, yeah, grew up playing all kinds of sports on and off. Never really had a super, super consistent rhythm in terms of fitness in the gym kind of, post high school after athletics kind of faded off. But college, did some of the gym at the campus stuff, early marriage with Kat and I, kind of had some seasons where I just did some Globo gym kind of stuff or working out in the apartments we lived in with the little, gyms available there, but never really had a super consistent until I found CrossFit. And then that was really a consistent, just fell in love with it.
So you said something that's like, I'm going to take a total side bar tangent down here and then come back to your story, is you said the word Globo Gym, which is a word I understand. But I've said this on this podcast before, and I've actually got a handful of people say, "What's a Globo Gym?" like they actually searched like Globo Gym,
Right.
and that was an actual type of gym. And I was like, "That's not a universal phrase." What do you mean when you say Globo Gym?
Yeah, I guess it's not a universal phrase.
No, it's not.
We're just used to it.
Yeah,
because,
right. But I was like, Globo Gym. I guess not everyone knows what that is. What would you say that is?
The gym that you just have a membership and you can walk in and just kind of do your own thing. So
Yeah.
when I say Globo Gym, I think of places like Gold's Gym, or
Planet Fitness. Yeah.
LA, that kind of place.
Where you just pay for the facility membership. There's no programming. There's no classes. It's some machines, some dumbbells. You just kind of come and do your own thing.
You're responsible for your own programming and doing your own, understanding what you want to do that day.
Which, let us say, this isn't either or. This isn't like casting shade on them or we're better. We're just saying, hey, there's different types of gyms.
Right.
We're a CrossFit gym. There's also group-style class gyms of Orange Theory or yoga, like we do groups here. But then also there's global gyms that focus more on bodybuilding and free weights and stuff like that. So anyways, you kind of dabbled in and out of that. Keep going.
Yeah, dabbled in and out of that and never really found something super, super consistent until, again, when I found CrossFit. That's really when it, in terms of having a regular rhythm of fitness and understanding how that played into my role or my life and pursuing that was when I found CrossFit for the first time.
So what year was that when you said found CrossFit? What year was that?
Let's see. It was right around Maeve's birth, so it would be 2018.
2018, and at the date of this recording, we're actually days away from 2024. When you're listening to this, it is 2024, maybe 2025. But this is about 5-6 years ago now.
Right.
So you haven't looked back since. What brought you to CrossFit? What was like that story, and what was like the impetus that kind of like led you to it?
Yes, it's actually one of those things where I look back on life and it's like how I ended up getting into CrossFit was it's just a really, really cool story. We were actually relocated down to St. Petersburg, Florida for a season of life. It was all around Maeve's birth.
Where'd you move from?
So we were here, Metro Atlanta area.
Okay, in Atlanta.
Right.
Went down to Florida.
Right.
For Maeve's birth. Continue.
Yep. We were in Woodstock, over in Woodstock, Georgia. We just bought our first house. We were living there, and so Maeve is our oldest. She was born with a congenital defect called congenital diaphragmatic hernia, which essentially is, if you think about the diaphragm as a muscle band that kind of separates your gut from your chest, hers was not formed all the way. So she had a big hole in her diaphragm. They found that at her 20-week ultrasound.
Oh, wow.
For 20 weeks checking in on Kat, they spotted that, and so that just was a whirlwind of, we had no idea what was about to happen.
Wow.
A lot of research, a lot of scary moments. Essentially, what we ended up finding is a surgeon down in St. Pete, Florida, who is arguably the best in the world.
Wow.
Definitely in the country.
Wow.
For this. Atlanta couldn't really give us much of a confident diagnosis. We consulted with them. Through a lot of word of mouth and Facebook connections, we found a nonprofit group that ended up connecting us with down to that team in Florida at Johns Hopkins All Children's in downtown St. Pete.
Wow.
So we flew down there. We met with them, and they gave us a much stronger diagnosis and prognosis than Atlanta could. They've developed an entire center just for this one thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the first children's hospital in the country that had a dedicated wing of the hospital, dedicated staff of the hospital, dedicated surgeons just for this one defect. This doctor's name is Dr. Case. He's essentially just made this his baby, his thing that he just figured out and wanted to just be the best at. And so we consulted with him, determined that it was the best thing for us to do to give Maeve the best shot of surviving, honestly. Atlanta kind of gave us a 50-50 shot. She might not make it.
Wow.
If you look at national averages of kids born with congenital diaphragmatic hernia, it's about 50-50.
Wow.
Which is pretty
That's a high percentage.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give the best shot we could to her, and lucky for us, really blessed that Florida's only stayed away, and we arranged it and worked it out where we could get down there. So we were down there for she was in that hospital, in that specialized NICU unit for the first 3 months of her life.
Maeve was.
Maeve was.
Gotcha.
That's right.
How was Kat?
How was Kat?
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
That pregnancy was really, really, really hard for a lot of the reasons connected to the issue itself.
Yeah.
So pregnancy was really hard. Essentially what happens, and it's called CDH for short,
Okay.
congenital diaphragmatic hernia. So again, the diaphragm has a big hole in it. So the organs that are typically in your gut ended up in Maeve's chest as she's developing,
sure,
right? So think about stomach, spleen, intestine tract, and then liver. Liver is one of the big, kind of really determines the complexity of it. She had a good amount of her liver up through this hole.
Okay.
So what it ends up being is a lung problem.
Yeah.
Because the organs that are supposed to be in your gut end up in the chest.
Yeah.
So as these babies are developing, their lungs can't develop. They're born with really, really small lungs.
Well, and the diaphragm is the muscle. When you inhale, the diaphragm goes down. So in any kind of breathing operation, your diaphragm is involved as well.
Yeah, if you think about like when we say, hey, when you're about to do a back squat, like a big brace,
yes,
a big breath, that's your diaphragm engaging.
Wow.
Right? So Maeve was born with basically the left side of her diaphragm was about 90% not there.
Wow.
So a giant hole. So she had a lot of organs in her gut up in her chest. She was going to be born not able to breathe, right?
Yeah.
So these kids are born, they can't breathe. And, years ago, before technology could spot this, they were born and they couldn't breathe, so they would pass.
Oh, man.
Obviously, technology, amazing what has come. They can spot it now. They spotted it at 20 weeks, gave us the diagnosis. That's kind of what set us on the research path.
Right.
And then we found the team down in St. Petersburg, moved down there. May was born November 15th of 2018. We moved down there early October of that year, just to be there in case she came early.
Yep.
Cat had a lot of extra amniotic fluid, and that all has to do with Maeve having the CDH. And,
gotcha.
So it was just, hey, get down there early. That way you're there, because if the baby's born and you're not there yet, it's really hard to medically relocate at that point. So we went down there. We were renting a house in a new town we've never been to, didn't know anybody, living in a ton of stress and fear, and having our first kid. We don't know if we're going to come home with her. We think we're in the best place for her to do her survival, but there was a lot of fear. And so it was one of the situations. I was working, the company I was working for at the time let me work remotely, but we had a lot of free time. And essentially I had to go do something. I had to go find something to just help me not think about it and not be stressed out and not be so scared. And so I was just looking to go find a gym down there, like a Gold's or something, just to go
blow off steam.
Right?
Distraction.
Right. We were renting a house, and Catherine one day was like, hey, there's a CrossFit gym down the street, like literally down the street from where we were, 2 blocks down the road from this house we were renting. What if you went and tried that? And I think I audibly laughed at her and was like, I can't do that. Like that, there's no way. I'd never had any consistent, I wasn't in good shape, right? Like I never had any consistent real exercise in my life. And so I thought it was I laughed at her, but, she pushed me. She encouraged me to walk down there or just go in one day. And she knew I needed something, right? I was not in a good place mentally.
Right.
So with her encouragement, I actually went and tried this CrossFit gym. It's called Berg CrossFit.
Berg?
Berg. So like St. Petersburg.
Oh, okay.
Berg CrossFit.
That's cool.
I went and tried it. They were super accommodating, great group of people. Told them the story, how we were there. They were super welcoming. I don't remember what the workout was when I walked in that first day, but I just remember I could not walk for about 3 days afterwards. I remember there was like a lot of squatting, and they had almost kind of similar programming track, where they had a certain track where I was brand new to this, right? So I wasn't doing any Olympic lifts or barbell stuff. It was a lot of body weight, kettlebell, dumbbell.
Right.
But I remember it wrecked me.
Yeah.
Just because, high intensity, full body. I never really done something like that. I remember I couldn't walk. We had stairs in this house, and I struggled getting up and down the stairs the next couple of days, but I loved it. And I kept going back. They kind of arranged me to have a kind of a flex membership while we were down there because we didn't know how long we'd be there.
Right.
This was still before May was born.
Okay.
But yeah, I did that for about three or 4 days a week. Started then and just kept doing it up until through Maeve's birth. Then she was in that hospital for about 3 months, the first 3 months of her life. So, it really became for me like it was the outlet that got me through that season.
Absolutely.
It really was.
It was a very healthy outlet that ultimately changed your life, found a passion, started a new trajectory in your path. So I love that your wife was the one to say, hey, go check this out. She knew that you needed it.
She knew I needed it.
A little bit more than you knew that you needed it.
Yep.
But, I mean, look at you now. I mean, 5 years later, I mean, obviously we see the end of the story right now that you have a healthy Maeve. You're a coach at CrossFit Gym. So let's resume on after the 3 months Maeve is there, your daughter. What happened between then and now? Like, give us a quick couple minute catch us up to speed.
Yeah, so she was discharged, I think, like day 95 of her life. We got out of there, came back home. For the first couple weeks of us being back, and we were in Woodstock at the time, we were just kind of focused on getting her acclimated. We had there was still a bunch of complexity stuff, and she was on oxygen 24/7 and a lot of things. But anyways, for about the first couple weeks coming home, we just kind of focused on that. But then I started getting the itch, and I was like, I miss it, right? Because it was something I had most every day, or at least 3 or 4 days a week. And it really did become a stress outlet, a vital part of my health. And so we got back, and I was like, oh, I got to find a gym around here and like actually jump into this thing full time where we live. And so I joined a CrossFit gym in Woodstock off Highway 92 called CrossFit Garage. Great place, great owner. Was there for, I guess, we were in Woodstock for the next year and a half or so. And then we moved over to Peachtree Corners, which I was more previously to coming here. And I was at a gym called CrossFit PPG. And that's where I first started initially coaching, I guess last September, so September of 22. I got my L1 and started coaching at CrossFit PPG.
And your L1 is what?
My level 1 CrossFit trainer certification.
So you got certified to be a CrossFit coach, start coaching at CrossFit PPG in a different city from here. And then what ultimately led you to Coming Strength and Fitness?
Yeah, when I was at PPG, did a couple of the competitions here. So did the Summer Classic with a buddy. I guess that was last summer, 22, when Ben and I did the scale track. And then did the Thanksgiving Throwdown with a couple of athletes from PPG last Thanksgiving. And so just had come up here with the competitions, saw the facility, loved it, knew it was super amazing, met some of the folks. And then kind of while all this was happening, while me being at PPG, Kat and I were just dealing with we were in a house in Peachtree Corners. It's a whole story. The synopsis of it was an old house, and we think there were some mold issues and things of that nature. We ended up just needing to get out for a plethora of reasons,
sure.
Health and other things. So we kind of made a leap of faith and had a chance to sell the house off market, and we knew we wanted to eventually get up this way.
Sure.
So when we had the chance to sell it, we sold it. We didn't really know what that meant in terms of longevity, buying.
So you didn't have anywhere to go. You just sold it.
Yeah, kind of. Pretty much.
I love it.
We sold the house. It really was kind of a leap of faith moment. Like, we know we want to get to that area.
Yeah.
That area being, Forsyth, Dawson, something
sure.
more up this way.
Sure.
So we sold the house. Didn't really know what that meant, but we were like, you know what? We'll take a year. We'll rent and kind of reset. Just kind of take a reset with focus on the family. So we did that. We sold the house, moved up here, and it was a pretty easy decision for me at that point because I'd been here. I'd seen the facility, and part of the decision of where we were going to at least rent for now was, well, I know CS&F's there. Let's be close-ish to there so that I can just jump in. I don't need to do research and find another gym. I know that's a place I'd love to be a part of.
Exactly. Well.
So that's what led us here.
And that was October 2022? What year was that? I mean, that was last year, but what month?
When we moved up here?
Yeah.
It was like May of this year.
Oh, May of this year.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you're
April?
here.
Maybe April, May.
So springtime, late springtime.
Right.
Ish.
It was right when you were having your youngest.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I have
like the morning that I walked in for the first time.
You are right.
You were like a day away.
So she's 8 months. So it was 8 months ago. So
Yep.
I have my third child. Her name's Emma. Shout out. She's awesome. It was that morning or day before.
You had gone to the hospital
the night before
because you thought
it was a scare.
Hannah might be having
They sent us home.
Right.
I went into the gym the next morning because I knew you were going to be here.
Right. That was my first morning here.
And then I think we went back later that day.
It was that day or the next day.
It was the next day.
So
That's a great time frame.
It was like right when Emma was born is when I came here.
What's interesting is a lot of the story intersects with our kids.
That's true.
Your daughter, my daughter. So talk to us about how the past 8 months has gone, just as both a member and then also as a coach. But just for someone who's listening because they're like, oh, I know Taylor, or I used to go to work out with him at PPG, or I'm a coworker with him, but they don't know anything about CS&F. What would you say about this place? Why is it different? Why do you keep coming back? Like, why is it special?
It's cliche, but it's the community. I mean, it really, really, really is. This place is very, very special. The people are absolutely amazing. There's something to be said when you can find a gym with people in like the same season of life as you. Or like you can go and you can grind out through a workout together. That's one thing, right? But then like after that, you can actually hang out on the weekends and do stuff together because you got kids the same age or you're just going through the same season of life. And part of that too, bringing it back to how I got into CrossFit. And what's funny about this is I joke with Catherine all the time. I'm like, you're the reason I started CrossFit 5 years ago because you nudged me and encouraged me to go give it a shot. Then I started. And I tried to recruit you into it for years. I mean, years.
Yeah.
I tried to recruit her into it, and
Yeah.
she just couldn't get over the mental hump or whatever. But then we come up here, and she meets Hannah.
Yep.
Right. And
Who's Hannah?
Your wife.
Oh, my wife.
Your wife, Hannah. In
Hi,
case
Hannah.
in case you've forgotten.
Shout out.
She meets Hannah and some of the other ladies here. And, a lot of credit to Hannah actually telling Kat like, hey, come try this. Like, we have such a good group of young moms, season of life.
Yeah.
We don't just want it to be a place where we work out, but real community, right? Real friend group. So she comes, she tries it, and now she's in, right? So
she's all in, baby.
She's all in. I mean, she's all in. She's getting upset when she's getting beaten workouts. Like, you know what I mean?
I love it. I love that so much. So not only did you guys start here, but now you're a coach. So you started your coaching journey at your other CrossFit gym,
Yep.
and we had an opening here and said, "Hey Taylor, would love for you to hop on board and hop on the coaching staff." What does coaching mean to you? Like, why do you coach? Why do you do it, and why do you enjoy it?
CrossFit for me got me through one of the darkest seasons of my life.
Yeah.
I say it. I've said before, like I think CrossFit helped me.
Yeah.
Save my daughter. Like, obviously, I didn't save my daughter, right?
Right.
God saved her. A surgeon saved her. But it helped me be in a spot where I could focus on what was important at that moment in time. So CrossFit, to me, got me through one of the hardest seasons of my life. And I know it can do that for other people.
Yeah.
It did it for me. I know it can do it for other people. I know CrossFit can get someone from, and maybe they're not in a dark season. It's just get from here to better. Maybe they are in a dark season. It's to get them through it. But I know what it's done for me, and I want to help other people experience that as well.
That's good.
That, to me, is why I coach. That, to me, is why I got into that.
That's good. That's a good reminder for everybody, whether you're a coach or an athlete or just any part of a community. You never know what someone's going through when they walk in the doors of a church or a gym or a barbershop or a rock wall gym or a coffee shop. What are called third places, not your home, not your work, but a third place like a gym, that you never know what someone's going through, and that you always have the opportunity, whether you're a coach or whether you're an athlete or just a friend, that you have influence to impact someone's day. So I love that. Taylor, the last question I have for you as far as all things Coach Taylor is, you kind of gave us a synopsis, kind of gave us your story, kind of gave us where you're at now. What does the future hold for Taylor and Catherine and the Latham family? Like, what are the hopes, dreams, and desires?
You've asked me this question before.
Just trying to get it publicly.
Right. Gosh, it's a hard one to answer, but I feel like we've come through just some dark seasons, and we just feel like this, now that we're here meaning where we're at now, in terms of, currently living, but we're building a house up in Dawsonville, which is exciting and new, and we found this place and it feels like home, and I think it's just sustain what we found in terms of this feels like where we should be. Where we've come, just it feels like we're in the right place. How do we sustain that? How do we invest further into it?
Yeah.
How do we keep pouring into this place, make this place better and better, and love to be a part of it for as long as possible. In terms of the future, I've told this to you before too. I think the ultimate pipe dream one day, if I could go like 10 years into the future,
Yeah.
I don't know, do what you do.
Yeah. Have a place like this.
Run a gym or open one, or
Yeah.
I don't know, but again, it's one of those things where I've seen the power of community.
Yeah.
And in a gym where people can really invest, and it's like how do I go and further do that?
That's awesome. So essentially, you're planting roots. You have no foreseeable sights of going anywhere anytime soon. It's like, hey, we're here, we're planting roots, we're building a house, and we love where God has us right now, and we're just so thankful to be part of the community, and hopefully just give back what it's given to you guys, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Did I summarize that accurately?
You did. That was a pretty good summary.
Taylor, I think that captures a pretty good synopsis of the story, of your why, of your family, of the journey and the humps and the valleys that you guys have kind of gone through. Is there any last-minute additions to you or your story or just all things Coach Taylor that you would want to add before I kind of end our podcast with some fun, more lighthearted, silly questions?
I think if you're listening to this and you're not a member of CS&F and you just stumbled upon it or whatever, and you're thinking about jumping into whether it's a CrossFit gym or just some kind of place where it's that intentional next step of real rhythm and consistency in exercise, do it. Make the jump. This isn't just, about physical. This is mental health. This is spiritual health, right, if you do it the right way. And so I would just say anyone who's on the fence about it, jump in, do it, find a good place. If you're around here, come on. Come join us here.
Yes.
If you're already at CS&F, keep going. This is an amazing place. I've been a part of, I guess, 3 other gyms. One, obviously, a pretty short season in Florida, but this is the most special place I've been a part of in terms of people. So, we all have the challenge and the opportunity to really invest in and continue to make it that way. It's contagious. I've talked to buddies that are like, man, if I was closer to coming, I'd come to CS&F too. That place is amazing. But let's just keep investing into that.
Exactly.
Let's keep making it what is so special, and we're all a part of that.
Exactly. Taylor, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your influence. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for letting us know a little bit more about you. And just thank you for just your commitment to the CS&F mission and vision. And we're so grateful that you're here on staff. And we look forward to hopefully many more years down the road. But this has been fun. So as we kind of round third and come home in this conversation, I'm going to just lightning round, rapid fire some questions off that you can't think, you just have to react.
Okay.
They're going to be CrossFit related and non-CrossFit related. Okay?
All right.
We'll start with some easy ones. Taylor, what is your favorite CrossFit movement?
Clean. Or wall walks.
What? No one ever says wall walks. Why do you say wall walks?
I'm pretty good at wall walks.
Yes.
I've got the build for wall walks.
Sure.
So when they show up in a workout, I know
like,
I know I can do pretty well. And they're fun. I think they're really fun.
I do like them. Least favorite movement.
Heavy squats. So yesterday.
Favorite benchmark workout.
Ooh. I really like the Chief.
The Chief?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Workout you see on the board that you're like, I know I'm going to pass out or throw up on this.
Oh my gosh. I know you said not to think, but I'm thinking.
5.
Anything that's going to involve a heavy barbell.
Heavy barbell.
Yeah.
What's heavy?
I guess it depends on the movement, right?
That's true.
But
that's true.
Anything that's got, yesterday's workout, front squat, 10 reps, 3 sets of 185. That's pretty heavy for me.
That's heavy, yeah.
So anything that involves that's not heavy barbell cycling isn't quite my strength yet.
You get a gift of $5,000 to Rogue Fitness.
Ooh.
You have to spend it in 10 minutes right now. What are you buying off the top of your head? Top 3 items.
$5,000?
$5,000.
Man, I'm probably going to buy a rig and a squat rack to go in the new garage.
Ooh, there you go.
So that I can get stronger and do some extra squatting.
Okay, good.
And make workouts like yesterday not so painful.
Let's say that equals half of the cost. Let's say that's $2,500.
Okay.
What are you paying with the other $2,500?
Is it still Rogue?
Still Rogue.
Echo Bike.
Okay, now you are at $1,500 left. So you got a rig.
I guess I'm building out as much of a home gym as I can with $5,000.
Yeah, I would suggest you get lots of bumper plates.
That's
with
a good point.
Less than 1,500.
You know,
and then you're good.
I mentioned a squat rack and a bar, but
you don't have any weight to lift.
Plates. Well,
you got to get the weights to lift for sure.
That's a good point.
Taylor, what is a movie you could watch on repeat? Doesn't matter time of year, time of day. What's
School of Rock?
School of Rock.
Absolutely.
Dude, I've never seen School of
You've
Rock.
never seen School of Rock?
Is that terrible?
That's my all-time favorite movie.
It is a classic. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Go-to sweet or dessert?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. That is a great answer. Favorite genre of music to listen to when you work out?
When I work out?
When you work out.
Rap.
Rap. You do have a rap playlist.
I'm not a rap guy, but when I'm working out, I want rap.
Give me some rap, baby.
Yep.
I've already asked you about the sports, music, food. All right, last question. What is your restaurant that you could go to whenever? Doesn't matter. It's your go-to restaurant other than Chick-fil-A.
Ugh,
Chick-fil-A is always a good one.
of course.
But outside of Chick-fil-A.
Chipotle?
I knew it. I was going to say either Chick-fil-A or Chipotle. What's your third one? Those are my top two as well.
They're just so versatile.
I know.
I think you're going to agree with this one too, though. But Catherine and I love the local wood-fired
Oh,
expedition.
my gosh.
We love it.
I want them to sponsor this podcast.
We want them to open one up here.
Yes, as they should.
Windward's too far.
Too far.
We need one up here.
I agree. I'm going to call Danny right now. He's the owner, and he's awesome.
Well, maybe we can get a pool of people to go in and
literally
and franchise it together.
Create a petition to bring him up here. Taylor, this has been awesome. I appreciate your time. We will maybe see another episode down the road, but Coming Strength Fitness, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you guys.